Welcome back to another edition of Austin's American Flyer. So glad you could join me today. I'm going to be using this 290 in front of us to try a couple experiments that are those kinds of things that I've just been kind of like, I wonder if. So I invite you to join me today, and we're going to try some things on this engine. And if they are successful, I think you'll find them applicable to your engine repairs and maintenance. But a quick backstory, this engine was in dismal shape. Uh, Pretty much everything that can be wrong with an engine was wrong with this one. And in addition, it was a filthy mess. So I spent a lot of time getting it back in shape, cleaning it, and reviving motor, reverse unit, on and on and on. But I'm not going to show all that today. You've seen it before, and if you're interested, please check out the playlist. There's tons of repair videos on this channel. So, with that said, let's jump into some of the experiments on this 290 today on Austin's American Flyer. Well, here's a little project that I haven't run into before, but it's the first time for everything. So I'm working on this 290 rebuild here. This is one that has been on my to-do list. Wasn't running, needed a whole lot of things, and one of the things was the lens. There's a ball back in here, and the lens that goes in the front was actually, it looked like it was partially broken and chipped away. It looked like someone had, I don't know if someone had glued a replacement in or what, but I could not get that out. So I ended up having to drill it out. And you can get replacement lenses, but I happen to have some of this acrylic tube and happen to have a little lathe. So voila. I used kind of a poor man's trick, and I do have a calipers, but it's a lot faster if you have something that's the right diameter, like this drill bit. You can put your drill bit in there and say, hey, that's a pretty good fit. So I don't really want the headlight to be any bigger dimension or any smaller than that. It could be a little bit bigger, but that gets me really close. So I use that as a gauge. And now, let's see, I'll put this end in. It's a nice snug fit. Well, I can't do this with one hand, but anyhow, it's a nice snug fit. And I'll go ahead and clean that hole out a little bit more, and then I'll get that lens in there. And I may have to put a tiny bit of glue or something in there to hold it fast, but just kind of a fun repair you can do. This acrylic stuff isn't super expensive, and it's nice to have around for such an application as this. Thought I'd share. Let's take a look now with the little lens that I made installed. Let's go ahead and give the engine power. Hey. There you go. Kind of a neat little repair. Put it on the track. Light, it runs. Reverse unit works as it should. But when I put a load on it, I start having different issues. One is the front wheels of the truck, front tender truck, seem to get pulled a little bit off the rails. So then any little imperfection I have in my track, which are many, it just will kind of short and stop and try to throw the reverse unit. So I locked it into forward, and then it ran fine. So that's one issue. And I brought it over here once, and I found that the drawbar was bent. So it was the drawbar was actually lifting the front of the tender off. So that was interesting. And why I didn't see that it was bent to begin with, I don't know. When I hold this tender on a piece of track, and I don't know how well it's coming through here on the video, but this part of the truck is actually tilted up. Now it seems to still be making contact with the track, but it's not even from front to back. So I think that is the one issue with the tender, and why it's not tracking like it should, and why it seemed to be really allowing the engine to be super temperamental. That's the only obvious thing that I see. So I'm gonna get that adjusted, and after I get the smoke unit rebuilt, get this thing back on the track and see if it makes the difference that I hope it does. Because it's one of these things that's so simple. Come on now, let's get this figured out. I also added a spring to the front pony wheels here. There wasn't one. I just was in the mood to do something like that, so I did it. The other thing is it's not smoking very well at all. And I thought, you know what, I should do a little experiment and just disconnect the smoke unit and the headlight and just run, hook up 2 wires to the pickup here in the tender and run straight up there. I could put a little disconnect here, a little plug. All right, so what I'm going to do first is leave everything as is with the wiring. And I've got my transformer set at 70. And so I'm gonna, in my head, I'm gonna count to 20, try to do it about, 20 seconds at 60 or 70 miles per hour in transformer, and let's see what kind of smoke we get as is. Let's see, maybe I can put these back here, something dark to get a little better backdrop. Here we go. Okay, so that's approximately 20 seconds, and as you can see, we have nothing. All right, so I've got the 2 leads disconnected using alligator clips directly connected. I'm going to use a transformer set at 70 again, and I'm going to count to 20. Here we go. So you probably noticed right away that the headlight was noticeably brighter, much brighter, which is indicative of there being more voltage, more current getting to the smoke unit, which is going to heat the element up quicker and result in better smoke. This is why Flyer went to the 5-wire configuration. Now this particular engine came out before the 5-wire configuration. But seeing that amount of smoke at 70 is pretty nice. I'm going to take it, we're started at 70, or started at, let's do like 40 now, and see what kind of smoke we get. So yeah, look at that. So at 40 miles per hour, that's a nice smoke ring. And just for kicks and giggles, let's take it up to, let's see, we're at 70, let's go to 90. And that's where we start getting into the crazy amounts. And if we go with full speed, yeah, that's a lot of smoke. So, all right. So after this little experiment, there's 2 conclusions, at least in my mind. One is hooking the current directly up to the track is going to help all smoke units perform better. And the second is this smoke unit's maybe not in the best shape, and I could rebuild it, but there's also something really nice about using original smoke units as are. So I think for now I'm going to go ahead and just, like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to I'll add a little plug. I've got these micro plugs, so I'll put a micro plug between the engine and tender, so actually it'll be 6-wire. Why not, 6-wire. But basically we're going to bypass the jack panel, go directly to the tender pickups and add wires there, and then have a nice bright headlight and a smoke unit that I think is working pretty good. All right, here we're back with our little project engine, and you can see I've added that separate plug, so this micro plug comes apart, but I left the little bit longer section of wire going towards the engine, so you can just push it in the hole that's in the tender. And if a person felt like taking a Sharpie or paint sticker or paint or something, you could paint that red black, and it would go a long way towards helping it disappear. So let's go ahead, and now we've got everything together. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, so for that headlight, I've got the throttle at 60 right now, so we're getting some smoke. Going in reverse. Let's go ahead and take it back down to, let's go 30. Still getting some smoke, and let's check out the headlight here. How nice and bright that headlight is. That's an incandescent headlight, okay? That's not an LED. So I think this is a real good option if you don't want to rebuild a smoke unit. The other thing I didn't mention is when you rebuild a smoke unit, but you leave the wiring as a 4-wire on these older engines, you can set the smoke unit up so that you get more smoke. But there's always this, teeter-totter. If you set the amperage or the ohms to be too low so that you get really strong output at slow speeds, and someone ever comes along and runs it at a high speed, you can burn your wick out. So that's the challenge. However, if you go and kind of just leave the wiring, reverse unit wiring, engine wiring, everything like it is, just add 2 more wires like I did, now you get great smoke and you get a great headlight. You get a bright headlight, okay? Now, this headlight is shown there, and I've got the throttle at, it's like around 45, 50. So if we take it up much higher than that, you can see it gets to be pretty bright. So here we are. That's at 80. So anyhow, I'll take it over the layout here and see how it does after making those adjustments to the front truck of the tender. I also was experimenting with it, and I see that I've actually got a wheel that's a little bit out of round, so I don't know how that is impacting, because I saw the truck kind of wibbling and wobbling as I roll it back and forth. So a couple things going on, but again, these have a little bit of slop in them, so I think maybe this trick will do it for us. We'll find out here in just a second. All right, so here we go. Got my little handheld remote here. Got the voltage at 11. Doesn't really want to. There we go. It's a little sluggish on throwing the reverse unit when it gets lower than 11. But look how nice and bright that headlight is. I'm at 10 now. So let's go back, take it down to 9. Look at the headlight. Engine's almost not getting enough juice to roll, but we've still got a nice bright headlight. There, it's stalled out. All right, let's get some cars here. So I'm using a conversion car that happens to be a baggage car, and then I've got some freight cars behind it. Now here, take it back up to 11. Okay, here's at 11. I'm going to take it up to 13. This is at 13 now, 13 volts. I'll do one more pass. This time we'll take it up to 15. Wow, that is crazy fast. Lost my cars, it's so fast. Okay, so that's really interesting. It almost seems, so two things are going on here, I believe. Because I've separated the smoke unit and headlight, the motor's actually getting more voltage as well. Because at 15 volts before I did that, it wasn't this fast. I mean, this is crazy fast. So I guess if you choose to do this kind of experiment, just beware. You may see a difference in the speed and performance of your engine, as well as the smoke and headlight. So what I decided to do is leave it at 13 till we get on the straightaway. Now I'll take it up to 15. Oh, I lost my train again. Yeah, it's just a little bit too fast. Wow. All right. So I went ahead and ran it just a couple times for a little bit higher output speed-wise, and it seems like now that I've slowed it back down, the smoke wick is working better. I'm getting a little bit better smoke than I was when we first started. So that's kind of fascinating. I took it all the way up to 18 volts, which is kind of the max for flyer transformers for a short burst, because it is screaming and the smoke is pouring out. Yeah, it's a nice running engine. Really like the smoke level. It's not too much. So I guess if you have a situation where you've got a smoke unit that maybe is not performing like you'd like it to, except at higher speeds, consider doing what I did here. You can go to the jungle site we all frequent and buy these little micro plugs for a few bucks. You get a whole package of them. You could do a whole fleet of engines. I don't know how many sets are in there. It's probably 20 sets. But certainly worth your consideration. Probably once you did a couple of them, you could do one of these in 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how much stuff you've got to take off to get the shell off. But kind of a quick repair, and certainly, like I said, it's going to boost your motor and your engine, and certainly going to improve your headlight and the smoke. So hope you found this interesting and maybe worthwhile watching. Until next time, take care, God bless, enjoy those American Flyer trains.